For nearly a century, the promise of the modern West was built on a single powerful image: the ladder. The idea that your point of origin, be it a council estate in Manchester or a rural village in Kentucky, was merely a starting line, not a finish line. But in 2026, that ladder feels less like a tool for climbing and more like a relic of a bygone era. Today, the social escalator has stalled. In this deep dive, we are looking past the headlines of inequality to explore the structural glass floor protecting the elite, the AI ceiling threatening the middle class, and why your postcode has become a more accurate predictor of your future than your GPA. 1. The Great Stagnation, from post-war hope to 2026 realism. In the mid-20th century, social mobility was a statistical reality. Expanding universities, the growth of the professional middle class, and robust manufacturing created a perfect storm for upward movement. But according to 2025 data from the Social Mobility Commission, the link between a father's income and a son's future earnings is now stronger in the UK and US than in almost any other developed nation. We have moved from a fluid society to a fixed society. The meritocracy, a term originally coined as a satire, has become a system where the winners can increasingly ensure their children never lose. 2. The asset gap, income versus wealth. To understand the 2026 divide, we have to look at the asset gap. In the past, social mobility was driven by income, what you earn. Today, it is driven by wealth, what you own. With the explosion of housing costs and the stagnation of real wages, the Bank of Mum and Dad has become the UK's 9th largest mortgage lender. This creates a two-tier youth population: those who will inherit assets and those who will spend their lives paying rent to the heirs of those assets. This isn't just a class divide, it is a Neo-Feudalism, where your status is determined by your lineage's real estate portfolio, rather than your individual productivity. 3. The educational caste system, the shadow education market. We often talk about the gap between private and state schools, where 7% of the population, the privately educated, still occupies 65% of senior judicial and political roles. But in 2026, the divide has gone deeper. We are seeing the rise of the shadow education market, a multi-billion-pound private tutoring industry that allows wealthy parents to supplement even the best state schools. This ensures that even when the playing field looks level, the equipment used by the top 10% is vastly superior. Education, once the great equalizer, has become the great stratifier. 4. Geography as destiny, the postcode prison. In 2026, levelling up remains a slogan, but the data tells a different story. Your postcode is a proxy for your life expectancy, your access to high-status networks, and even the air quality you breathe. In mobility cold spots, like Blackpool or the industrial northeast, the local economy lacks the stepping stone jobs required for the first climb. This leads to a brain drain, where the most talented young people are forced to move to megacities like London, further hollowing out the communities they left behind and creating a geographical empathy gap that defines modern politics. 5. The AI ceiling, automation and the entry-level ladder. This is the new threat of 2026. Historically, the working class climbed into the middle class through entry-level professional roles: junior researchers, paralegals, or administrative coordinators. However, these are precisely the roles being eaten by large language models and AI. As AI automates the bottom rungs of the professional ladder, the gap between entry-level and senior leadership is widening. If the first step of the ladder is removed, how does anyone begin the climb? We are facing a future where the professional class becomes a closed shop, accessible only to those with the connections to skip the automated rungs. 6. Social capital, the hidden curriculum of success. Social mobility isn't just about money, it's about social capital, the unwritten rules of the elite. This includes everything from accents and cultural fit to knowing how to navigate a high-stakes internship. Data shows that even when working-class graduates land elite jobs, they earn an average of 17% less than their peers from privileged backgrounds in the same role. This is the class pay gap. It's the result of the hidden curriculum, a set of social signals that favour those born into the correct circles. 7. Synthesis, the sovereign individual versus the fixed system. As we discussed in The Soul of England, the English soul prizes the sovereign individual. But a sovereign individual cannot thrive in a fixed system. When the ladder is broken, the individualistic urge for autonomy turns into resentment. To fix the social divide, we must move beyond equality of outcome and focus on equality of access. This means radical decentralization of opportunity, moving the high-status hubs out of the capital and into the regions. 8. The glass floor, the downward mobility crisis. To take the argument further, we must look at the glass floor. This is the set of mechanisms, unpaid internships, inherited property, and parental networks that prevent the children of the wealthy from ever falling down the social ladder, even if they lack merit. In a healthy meritocracy, for someone to move up, someone else must move down. But in 2026, the glass floor is so thick that downward mobility is almost non-existent for the top 5%. This creates a bottleneck at the top. When the elite is protected from the consequences of their own failure, the entire system loses its dynamism. True social mobility doesn't just mean a fair shot for the poor, it means a fair risk for the rich. Conclusion: rebuilding the ladder. Social mobility is the heartbeat of a healthy society. When it stops, the society begins to decay from the inside out. In 2026, the question is no longer how do we help the poor climb, but how do we break the structures that keep the top 10% fixed in place? As we've seen in our looks at the trade paradox and energy sovereignty, we are living in an era of realignment. Our social structures must be part of that realignment. If the ladder remains broken, the English dream will remain exactly that, a dream. Stay informed, stay resilient, and let's demand a future where talent is the only currency that matters. We'll see you in the next analysis.